Seed Saving and Seed Legislation, a Growing Seed Saver Project video. In the project participated Danish Seed Saver organization Frøsamlerne, Lithuanian Institute of Natural Agriculture, Latvian Permaculture Association, and Estonian Maadjas. In the project, we tried to get a common understanding about how the seed legislation is being interpreted in the different countries. We also had to educate ourselves on the seed marketing legislation, and the whole seed marketing and is a huge amount of rules and documents, and it has been extremely difficult to understand and learn to understand how this whole thing is working. And in this project, we wanted to give the seed savers point of view of these issues. We also wanted to start up a discussion with the national authorities and members of the agricultural ministries and research sector on how seeds are being handled in this legislation. And from our point of view, it has been difficult because we have been told that we are not allowed to distribute or to sell or to even exchange or give as a gift any seeds. And this is a big hinder in our effort to save the heritage seeds that still are left in our countries. So the Danish Seed Savers organization have been working a lot on the legislative issues and working together with the Danish authorities in improving the seed legislation so that seed saving can be allowed and also can be both marketed and exchanged and given as a gift if it is among hobby growers or small-scale seed production. So the first legislative workshop was held in Latvia at the end of May 2019, and also representatives then from Estonia, Lithuania and Denmark participated as giving each other peer support during the workshop. And the Latvian workshop was kept in the Latvian Open Air Museum, and there was a lot of preparations before in order to also be able to show that what kinds of seeds we are talking about and what kinds of amounts we are talking about, because usually the heritage seeds, when we found them, then we are actually talking about grams more than about kilos. And we had a really fruitful seminar where there came many different points of views, both from here the chairman of the Latvian Permaculture Association in general about seeds and how the climate change is affecting our cultivated, also industrially cultivated seeds, and which are the possibilities and why we should then preserve also our heritage seeds, because they may contain such strains that are resistant to climate change. We had representatives from many different authorities and the Gene Bank, and the Danish Seed Savers organization representative was telling them about the Danish experience and how it has been solved, the problem in Denmark. Estonia told about the Estonian situation, and then from Lithuania we got experiences on seed exchange and seed legislation in Lithuania. Afterwards there was a long discussion, and we also got to know about conservation varieties and how to get conservation varieties registered, and what kind of work there had been done in Latvia, and this was even concerning an heritage variety of hemp, which then in the final round took many years in order to get it registered as a heritage variety, because the standard had also to be worked out. There were different opinions on the legislation, but on the cake everybody thinks that was tasting very good. So we got to know each other, and it was one step forward. The next to keep the legislative workshop, it was in the autumn 2019, was in Estonia, and also in Estonia the workshop was kept at the Estonian Open Air Museum. And we had then representatives from the Estonian National Folk Museum, and we were starting by talking about food as a cultural heritage. And after that then we were looking into the rules for reproducing seeds, and the legislation around the sort terminology and how to interpret these issues. And we had a representative from the ministry doing this. There was also a speech about plant health, and then we got a really good discussion on the issues when the Latvian participants and the Danish participants were telling about how the issues have been interpreted in their respective countries. We had also arranged a plant heritage exhibition, so that the people from the authorities and ministry could see that there are real plants with a lot of different kinds of characteristica behind these seeds that are being distributed in so small amounts, or that we would like to keep in situ, still living on field and changing with the climate. And here, for example, we could show an dahlia which on one branch, the same bush, is giving different colors of flowers. And also this event was written about in newspapers and journals. And especially then the plant heritage exhibition got a lot of attention. In Lithuania, the legislative workshop was kept in February 2020. And also here a great amount of people from different ministers and authorities met up to discuss these issues. And also here we had representatives from other countries then telling about how the problem had been solved or discussed in other countries. And here we have the Danish representative telling about the Danish case. At the end, we compiled a booklet where we compared the seed legislation in these different countries, and this was really very hard work, because not only the interpretations of the legislative acts are different in these different countries, but also among ourselves we had understood the issues in many different ways. But at the end, we managed to do this booklet named Legal Aspects of Seed Trade and Exchange in the Baltic States and Denmark from Seed Savers' point of view. And we have this also now in 5 different languages. Perhaps one of the most interesting issues are then how this system with the interpretation of the seed legislation is being implemented in the different countries. We had the Danish decision-making tree here as an example for us, and we were then building up the Baltic countries' decision trees in order to see how in different ways this same legislation is being interpreted. And this is a really good place to be now, that we have seen these different ways of doing it, and that we have these materials now in also 5 different languages. And I hope really that this will also be a good inspiration for other countries that are, and other seed save organizations all over, in order to start to work on the interpretation of the seed legislation, so that we really can save the last diversity that we have of our cultivated plants, and so that we don't lose even more of it. Most of it is already gone, but still we have a chance to improve these legislations and save what saved can be. Growing Seed Savers, Baltic-Nordic Seed Savers Education Innovation was funded by the Nordic Council of Ministers program NORDPLUS. The video content does not necessarily reflect the Nordic Council of Ministers' views, opinions, attitudes, or recommendations.